hydrocarbons. Obviously, you understood that we are going to start organic chemistry or a chapter of organic chemistry. What is organic chemistry? Obviously, your answer will be study of organic compound is known as organic chemistry. But then again, new question over here is, what is organic compound? Then, to being an organic compound, there are two essential conditions. One, carbon must present, and second, carbon must be covalently bonded with other atom like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, like that. So I can say that covalent compound of carbon are known as organic compound. But remember that this is not an exact definition. For example, carbon dioxide. It is a covalent compound of carbon, but even though it is not an organic compound. So in general, we can say that covalent compound of carbon are known as an organic compound, and study of covalent compound of carbon is known as organic chemistry. Now, this type of organic compounds occur in nature in the form of crude oil, or they are obtained from the earth crust. And when they are obtained from earth crust, mainly it contains carbon and hydrogen. So that type of organic compound, which mainly contains carbon and hydrogen, are known as an hydrocarbon. And in case of organic compound which contains carbon and hydrogen, that is hydrocarbon, which are obtained from earth crust, in that case the simplest hydrocarbon is, if you remember, that is a methane, because we know that valency of carbon is 4, so we can write it in this way. This is the simplest hydrocarbon. When we replace this hydrogen by means of any atom or group of atom, which is called functional group, like Cl or OH, then we have a derivatives of hydrocarbon. And study of this kind of hydrocarbon and derivatives of hydrocarbon is a part of organic chemistry. Here we will discuss mainly about the hydrocarbons. So, before I will start, let me classify hydrocarbon in a proper way. So, I can say that hydrocarbons are classified in a 4 different parts. One, first, broadly it is classified into a 2 part. One is called saturated hydrocarbons. Another is called unsaturated hydrocarbons. Unsaturated hydrocarbons are further classified into a 3 part. So in this way, you have a overall 4 different type of hydrocarbons. Now, what is the meaning of saturated hydrocarbons? Saturated hydrocarbons only contains carbon-carbon single bond. Means all carbon atom is bonded with the other carbon atom or hydrogen atom or any other, I can say that carbon and hydrogen, these 2 are only present. So they are bonded with all other carbon atom and hydrogen atom through a single bond. This type of saturated hydrocarbons are again further divided in a 2 part. One is called acyclic hydrocarbon, another is called cyclic hydrocarbon. This type of acyclic hydrocarbon is known as alkane. So, we can say, what is alkane? Acyclic saturated hydrocarbons having carbon-carbon single bond only is known as alkanes. I can say acyclic saturated hydrocarbons having only carbon-carbon single bond are known as an alkanes. Acyclic means here first and last carbon are not connected with each other, means they have a open chain structure, I can say. And here only carbon-carbon single bond is present in the entire compound, as well as this type of compounds have a general formula is CnH2n plus 2. In case of this type of compound, they are three-dimensional in nature, as well as this type of compound, in that case, the first member having a one carbon, so that is I can say CH4, which is known as methane. Same way, if you have a two carbon, then C2H6, which is known as ethane. If you have a three carbon, then C3H8, then it is known as propane. So this type of hydrocarbons, which have a general formula CnH2n plus 2, having a three-dimensional structure, particularly tetrahedral shape, open chain means acyclic, and possess only carbon-carbon single bond, are the characteristic of saturated hydrocarbons called alkane. Whereas cyclic hydrocarbons, which are also known as Cyclo Alkanes, in case of Cyclo Alkanes, you have a first and last member are connected with each other. So you have a closed chain, or I can say that cyclic structure. Valency of carbon is always 4. So here I can say CH2, CH2, CH2. Here also only carbon-carbon single bond is present. This type of compounds have a either structure will be a, we can say that planar if it is a lower member of the series, and three-dimensional if it is a higher member of the series. Then I can say this type of compounds have a general formula CnH2n. First member of this series will be have a minimum number of carbon 3. So I can say that the first member with a 3 carbon, whatever already I have written, that is CH2, CH2, CH2. It is known as cyclopropane. Same way, if it is a 4 carbon, then you can say it is known as cyclobutane. CH2, CH2, CH2. Cyclobutane is the name of the compound. Similarly, I can say that unsaturated hydrocarbon. Now, how will you identify unsaturated hydrocarbon? Then there are two reagents. One is called bromine water and another is neutral KMnO4 solution. Bromine water is yellow color solution, neutral KMnO4 is purple color solution, and if you add it in an unsaturated hydrocarbon, then if these two solutions get decolorized because of the reaction, then that reaction indicates the presence of unsaturation in your hydrocarbon. So I can say that unsaturated hydrocarbons gives a positive test with the neutral KMnO4. They can decolorize neutral KMnO4, and decolorization of neutral KMnO4 is an indication of the presence of unsaturation in your hydrocarbon. So I can say that unsaturated hydrocarbon can be further classified into a 3-part. One which contains at least one carbon-carbon double bond. And this type of the carbon-carbon double bond containing unsaturated hydrocarbons are known as alkenes. And this type of alkenes are further classified in a 2-part, that is acyclic as well as cyclic. So if I will say what is alkene, then obviously answer is unsaturated hydrocarbons having at least one carbon-carbon double bond are known as an alkenes. Or you can say that acyclic unsaturated hydrocarbon having at least one carbon-carbon double bond is known as alkenes. Cyclic unsaturated hydrocarbon having at least one carbon-carbon double bond is known as cycloalkenes. In case of this type of hydrocarbon which is acyclic, there are always two type of bonding. One is called carbon-carbon double bond, another is called carbon-carbon single bond. Both type of bondings are present. General formula of this type of hydrocarbon is CnH2n. Here at least one carbon-carbon double bond should be present, and that is why minimum number of carbon, that is called first member of this, have a minimum 2 carbon, so C2H4 will be the compound. Now in case of this type of hydrocarbon, I can say that the C2H4, that is a first member, which also we can write in this way, CH2 double bond CH2, which is known as ethene. Same way, if you can say 3 carbon, then in that case C3H6, then in that case your formula will be CH2 double bond, let me write it in this way, C3H6, structural formula will be like in this way, then it is known as an propene. So this is called ethene, this is known as propene. When it is a cyclic, then it is called Cyclo Alkanes, and in case of Cyclo Alkane, obviously there is at least one carbon-carbon double bond, as well as other bonds can be a single bond. General formula in this case is CnH2n minus 2. Most important thing, this type of compounds are, I can say, planar always in nature. Here also these compounds are also planar in nature. But here the first member have at least 3 carbon, and in that case 2 conditions should be satisfied, cyclic as well as at least 1 double bond. Valency of carbon is always 4, so 1, 2, 3, so I can say CH. Here 1, 2, 3, so CH1, 2, so we can say CH2. So this is known as cyclopropene. Same way, suppose if you take a 5 carbon, then in that case you have this type of structure. Now in this case, there is a 1 double bond, and in that case this is CH, CH, CH2, CH2, CH2. Then it is known as cyclopentene. So this is a cyclopropene, this is a cyclopentene type of the structure. Not only that, in case of this, these are again planar cyclic compound having a formula CnH2n minus 2. So here what will be the formula? You can say C3H4. Here formula will be C5H2 to 4 to 6 to 8. So C5H8. The third is an unsaturated hydrocarbon, which is, I can say that, contains at least one carbon-carbon triple bond. This type of hydrocarbons are known as alkynes, and alkynes are only acyclic in nature. Cyclic alkynes are not possible. Not only that, here type of bonding, if you look, then at least one carbon-carbon triple bond, as well as other can be a single bond. In addition to that, this type of structures are always linear. Their general formula is also CnH2n minus 2. So now look, if you have a general formula CnH2n plus 2, it is alkane. If it is CnH2n, then 2 possibility. Cyclic, then cycloalkane. If it is acyclic, then alkene. Same way formula is CnH2n minus 2. And cyclic, then cycloalkene. If it is acyclic, then it can be a alkyne type of compound. Here also I can say that first member have at least 2 carbon required. So we can say CH, triple bond CH, that is known as C2H2, which is known as ethyne. Same way, if you have a 3 carbon, then in that case you have this type of structure where formula is C3H4, and in that case we can say actually C3H6 minus 2, so you have a C3H4 type of the formula, which is known as propyne type of the compound. And this type of the compound we can define in this way. What is alkynes? Unsaturated hydrocarbon having at least one carbon-carbon triple bond is known as alkynes. Unsaturated hydrocarbons having at least one carbon-carbon triple bond is known as alkynes. Now the fourth type of hydrocarbon is an arenes, which is also an unsaturated hydrocarbon, a kind of unsaturated hydrocarbons. So I can say that is the fourth type of hydrocarbons, arenes, and in case of this arenes, I am writing it separately over here. In case of this arenes compound, it is a special type of unsaturated hydrocarbon. Like alkynes are only acyclic, like that arenes are only cyclic. So I can say that this type of compounds are only cyclic in nature, number one. The second important thing is it contains characteristic double bond. Characteristic double bond we will discuss in a detail when we will discuss about the arene compounds. But let me give you just a brief introduction. In organic chemistry, it is said that compound having a same functional group should show a similar chemical properties. Here this hydrocarbon is unsaturated, contains double bond. So its property should be a other compound which contains double bond like alkenes. Now one of the property of alkene is alkene decolorize KMnO4 and bromine water. But these arenes compound cannot decolorize KMnO4 and bromine water. Second thing, alkene compounds gives addition reaction. But this arene compounds, instead of giving addition reaction, it gives substitution reactions more easily. The third, alkene compounds like ethene, propene can undergo polymerization, forms polyethene, polypropene type of compound, but here arene compounds cannot undergo polymerization. It means that it contains, we can say that, a special type of unsaturation. In it, and this kind of special type of unsaturation present in organic compound which are known as an arene. Here type of bonding, if you look, then it has a double bond and single bond present in their structure, as well as the first member of this type of hydrocarbon. I can say the first member of this type of hydrocarbon is a C6H6. This is its molecular formula. Its structural formula, we can write it in this way, where this is hydrogen. And in this case, this will be a double bond. So this is a compound which contains a C6H6 type of the molecular formula, as well as in case of this compound, I can say that we can also write the structural formula in this way. Let me write it with this color. And the double bond mentioned over here, we can write it in this way. This is also another way to represent this type of the compound. Here, general formula about this type of arenes compound we will discuss later on when we discuss arene compounds in a detail. But in short, these are the four different types of hydrocarbon which we have to discuss in this chapter. We will in general discuss all these compounds in this way. First we will talk about their basic introductions, then their nomenclature, then their preparations, then properties, which we will divide in a two-part, physical properties and chemical properties. So all the four different types of hydrocarbons and about their structures and hybridizations we will discuss one by one in our topic. So I am starting this chapter after this basic introduction, hydrocarbons. Classification of hydrocarbons. Organic compounds containing only carbon and hydrogen elements are called hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are classified into four main groups based on different types of bond between the carbon-carbon atoms. First type of hydrocarbon is alkane. Alkanes are hydrocarbon having only carbon-carbon single bond. Alkanes are acyclic as well as cyclic, which we have already discussed. Same way, second is alkenes. Alkenes are unsaturated hydrocarbons. Number one. Why they are unsaturated hydrocarbon? Because they contains at least one carbon-carbon double bond. And like alkanes, alkenes are also acyclic as well as cyclic in nature. Similarly, the third type of hydrocarbon is alkynes. Alkynes are unsaturated hydrocarbon. Alkynes are also decolorized KMnO4 and bromine water. Alkynes are hydrocarbon having at least one carbon-carbon triple bond, and alkynes are mainly acyclic in nature. Cyclic alkynes are not possible. And same way, arenes. Arene compounds are special type of unsaturated hydrocarbons. Arenes are hydrocarbons having a characteristic carbon-carbon double bond, and arene compounds mainly contain cyclic compound, as well as the first member over here is always having a minimum 6 carbon atom, and the first member is benzene C6H6. We have to discuss one by one in a detail all these 4 type of hydrocarbon. So every time I will start from this slide where we are starting with the hydrocarbons alkane, alkene, alkynes and arenes. The main path of discussion of myself will be in this way. First we will talk about basic introduction, and almost basic introductions we did it over here. Then we will talk about first nomenclature, then preparation, then properties. And properties we will divide it in a 2 part, physical properties and chemical properties. So one by one in our subsequent video we will start discussion of alkanes, alkenes, alkynes and arenes.